It's DJ Puddin'. Back on the ones and twos for me and yous. That's right, we are back on the ones and twos. The one would be the main channel. Last week, y'all seen, I come out here, not out here, I was in there, and that's part of my problem. We mounted our front sheet metal, we got the radiator intercooler in, and at the end, I shoved the truck out here when I could see it, full vision. I noticed we had way too much of a gap at the front, and basically that whole front end had sagged, and I never accounted for that and never crossed my mind. It was a mistake on my behalf, and then we shimmied it up at the end, maybe y'all seen about 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch, and it fixed the overhang. And then we compared on Big Orange over there, and I kind of showed you how we can either have a nasty gap up here or a bigger gap down there. Blah, 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 blah. Guys, we're going to just hop right in and try to get that fixed this morning. So we'll kind of be redoing some of the stuff we did, but sometimes on a build, that's what you got to do. It's not going to be too bad, I don't believe. The hard part was kind of recessing everything where it could fit, radiators, intercooler, stuff like that. These adjustments we're going to have to do now should not be too big of a deal, and I don't know, let's just hop into it and see what we get into here. Now last week we did have crappy weather, and this Monday morning I've been out here kind of cleaning the shop, swapping out some scrap, blah blah blah, but a lot of the tools we had used I just put right here in the old 110, because we're supposed to have nice weather this week, and we're going to enjoy it being out here in the sun. Hopefully this shouldn't take all day, so we should be able to get a little more done later on. I don't know, let's just have a strip fest. How's that? Maybe not, maybe not. Oh man, looks like I've kind of boogered up my lens here with sparks. We got a little breeze blowing. I do apologize if it gets us a little today. Whew. Did you see that thing try to take me out? Not today. You're gonna have to be faster than that. You're gonna catch me slipping. Bring it on, Lodestar. Oh yeah, I'm feeling nice and loose this morning. Welcome back to the show. I'm Redo Ricky. We'll do it once, we'll do it twice, but when we're done, she's gonna be nice. Y'all see that pro tip? Y'all know I replaced this fender and I color matched the patina, so if you want to look realistic, you gotta throw your bolts on there. Yeah. Lodestar's tried to attack me twice. When it makes it to 3, fights on. Oh, Lodestar, you may have a few regrets in your life. Maybe you tried to haul something you shouldn't have once or twice. But I promise you, you try to hit me again, that's gonna be the biggest regret you ever had. I've whooped bigger for less. And unfortunately, like last week, one thing we gotta do is get her stripped down. But fortunately, it's a pretty quick process. We got a few 5/16 bolts all the way around, and this whole baby just comes right apart. Now that, my friends, is serviceability. Now, before we start making changes on that side, let's go ahead and get all kinds of things leveled up here. So this is a point where you could use jack stands, or for us, y'all laugh because I have 1,000 jacks, but we're about to put those babies to use. Let's go, Big Red. Oh, well dang, 0.10. I mean, we're sitting pretty stinking level. Oh, no, changed its mind, 0.20. Let's go up just a smidgen. One jack screech. Rink. Apparently we're going the wrong way, huh? 0.50. Bounce, bounce, bounce. To 0.30 now. Let's go one jack screech. Let's go one jack screech on the proper side. Woo, 0.0. And this grill we can't exactly trust because it actually does have like some crown to it, but being at 0.0, we know we're pretty stinking close to 0. We cannot trust our radiator because me and Bill noticed at the end of the other day how crooked this radiator is actually. It's built all kinds of wonky. And even though our measurement from the chassis to this part, which we did not change, is the same on both sides, then our measurement from this to this is the same on both sides. If you look at that thing, it actually runs uphill a little bit crooked. I know what you're thinking. Well, you should drop that side down. Well, the problem is then in there, the radiator fins, which run really parallel right now, then they would be crooked. So I was trying to figure out how I did that, and Bill said, well, he had the same problem with his. He said the first radiator he tried putting in his grill shell was just looking crooked as could be, and he got to looking, and his was manufactured all wonky too. So the next thing we want to figure out is how high up are we going to lift this? Right now I put a piece of 1x4 in there. I don't think wood is actually 1 inch, so it's probably a little less than that, 3/4, 7/8, somewhere in there. It depends on what the sawmill felt like making that day, I do believe. Subject to vary, you know. Oh, you want a 1x4? Here, let me give you a 3/4 by 3.5. Would that work? You know, I don't know. If I tell you I'm gonna give you a foot up the ass, you want the whole foot, or you just want me to, you know, get to the ankle bone and then stop? No, you're gonna get the whole thing, okay? I don't know why I'm feeling so frisky this morning. Feeling like I need some confrontation in my life or something. Let's go get rowdy like the old days. No, let's not. Let's just fix the lodestar. So next, we need to jack up on both sides, making sure to equal out the body. That's why we want the chassis nice and level, so we can jack up on this body and get it nice and level. The question here is, can we pick up on that? And yes, we can. Oh yeah, that picked it up a lot, and I bet right up in there is where it needs to be. And the reason I say that is as I picked up, a lot of these gaps just got better. And I know metal's gonna sag, and I know us not having that front supported the whole time has not been good for it. And I should have known to get all those gappages right way before we ever mounted it. But instead, I just let it hang out there where it had been and we mounted it. And that's why we're getting to redo it. Does this one work still? Yeah, it's trying. It's trying. It's got a pump or two left in it. All right, we got support on it as well. Not enough for that to come out as easy. Oh yeah, it did. It was just wedged on the washer, I think, because that came right out now. Uh-huh. And I know we're doing good also because this gap is closing. I couldn't figure out how to get that closed before. I bet now with it picked up, that just needs hammered on to kind of contour to this cab better, because that's the replacement fender, so it never really fit this one exactly. Little pump there. It gets us back to ballpark where we were, I think. Like I said, we can't really trust this thing. In fact, it's gonna be kind of hard to trust anything, because like out here, we're not on level concrete, you know. We got there about 9 7/16. This side's a whole inch lower, allegedly. 4.5 to the top of the mount. 4 13/16. 4 11/16. Woo! Went a hair too far. All right, there we go. So my go-to right now is going to be to get these measurements matching on both sides. And once they're matching, I'm going center of the light from the ground up to that edge. 9. Still right at 3/8, 9 3/8, 9 15/16. So now we're within a 1/16, and that's pretty stinking good considering concrete and everything else. Being out here now, I can kind of step away and look at stuff to see if it's looking level or not. And it looks pretty good across there, I do believe. Luckily, someone put the old 1-ton right in the way of the 5-ton, so it'll be hard to judge it from here, but that looks good, guys. Measurements are matching off of the mount and then off the ground to the fender. So that makes us feel pretty confident too, don't it? Sure does. You want to see something crazy? There he is. His name's Theo. I decided we better put the hood back on before, just to check before we got too crazy, or we'd be in the same situation again. And right here, that rust where that used to overlap tells us how far we need to go. And look, if we continue to jack up on that, about right in there, that disappears. That does help close our gap a little bit. The gap's still gonna be bigger right here, like I said, unless we drop it down. That's just the shape of the hood versus fenders. But I don't know if y'all could notice, that was still quite a bit to go up to get it back to that original place. Now the thing is with that, we may be going too high, because if that hood originally was shifted forward and kind of dropped down up on the cow side facing more forward, hugging the fender tighter like our orange one is that I'd shown y'all, then that hood would have been forward reaching there without that front being jacked up that high, if that makes sense. I mean, overall, look how much higher that makes our truck even look like it's sitting, jacking up on all that quite a bit. So I think this is just where we got to split some differences like I've kind of told you in the past. And I don't think in there is looking too bad on everything. That don't really affect our hood back here. You can hear some of this starting to bind, also indicating we're going too far, jacking up on that. So I do think this hood was probably adjusted forward some, perhaps. But when I first had it together, this was so far down that we could see that whole that whole cutout square. That is 1000% not white. Now I think right there looks good. It's probably hard to tell on camera, but a minute ago that fender was starting to, like, the wheel arch was starting to back too far. Right there, I think's looking good. We covered up some of it, maybe not all of it, but nothing too crazy. So I think we're gonna go with where I got it right here. And as y'all can see, that is quite the dramatic difference on where all this used to sit. Yeah, that's pretty bad. We'll check this measurement a final time and match our other side. Oh, never mind, we are matching, because that's back to 4 13/16. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Now if we wanted to, we could measure that distance, try to create some spacer, blah blah blah. Luckily for us, they're pretty big tacks, but all I did was put tacks on our pieces here. So let's try to cut those babies and then we'll tap them off there. I would say we drop them down, but I think we're gonna lose so much of our support. It's looking like we may have to rebuild these. But that's why they call me old Do It Again Daryl. Hell, sometimes you just gotta do it again. Cal, that old mount, never heard of it. See, it's too bad our mounts aren't actually symmetrical. If y'all remember, I had to take some more off one corner than the other and blah, blah, blah. The reason I say that is if they were perfectly symmetrical, on each side we could flip them. That way our mount would be running up here for support instead. Because now if we drop this down to here, well, we still get almost 2 inches of support. Obviously not near as much as what we had before. What's funny though is I guess is that slouched the front end drug back, because now we've got probably 3/8 gap back there. So these ain't gonna work no matter what. It's like those stupid incorrect mounts never even happened. The hood slamming down like that will definitely help to line out some of the gaps over there. We were actually hoping for that to happen. Well, that one cut off, cleaned up. We got the same gap right there, and that's a really good sign actually. Stuff's gonna be off. We want it to be off the same amount on each side. That does mean at least we're consistent, square, you know. We don't wanna change this and our measurements all be out here good. And then we cut off one mount and it butts up like tight to it or something, because then we'd be going, what the heck's off? Being off the same amount on both sides, that's good. And these old mounts, well, now they're just washed up old has-beens. Now we're not gonna go into too detail of this because, well, you just seen me build the other ones on the main channel. Now that was a 3x3 square, and you know that we just need it 3/8 of an inch longer. So we're basically doing a repeat process here. Golly, hot metal shaving right to the armpit. That'll get you. That'll wake you up in the morning. Round your corners. Look, professional. Wow. I like to do that when it's hot. That's why they call me put in hot fingers. Nobody calls me put in hot fingers. So this part's a little different, not a lot. I had this piece here is what I've been cutting off of. So I cut us one piece here 4 inches long, because these ones stick out longer than these ones. We can actually go 3 inches out, where out here we couldn't. We needed to go to like 2 3/4 or whatever. So long story short, we're gonna go in 3/16 of an inch, make a mark, do the same thing over there on this 4 inch long piece. And we're going to connect those dots, and once we cut that, we'll have 2 gussets, and they'll be perfectly symmetrical. Clean up, clean up. Everybody loves a clean up. Go! Oh! Ho ho! Puddin's Fab Shop, off-road action! Puddin's Fab Shop, will the welder make it? Yeah, the welder don't do a lot of ramping and didn't know what to do with that 2-inch drop. It was like, oh crap. I felt it in the front wheels. And we may not use her very often, but I did put 220 over here. In fact, you can tell we don't use it often because it's the only outlet I ain't flipped yet, so my cord ain't upside down. However, in my planning of my dream shop here, guys, I thought, you know, there's gonna be a time where we may need to weld outside. If that happens, we definitely want 220 up there at the front. So let's put this 220 to use, huh? Nom, 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 nom. Yeah. That'll help get you a good ground through that paint and rust. Check the fit up. Oh, looks good. Other than that corner, we need to knock some of that corner off. Don't need a lot. Yeah, we better round that just a little more. We want the edges to match or that'll just kind of look sloppy. We can clean her up a little. Now wait till you see how good it looks. Boom, there we go. Now instead of having that sharp edge just hanging out there to nothingness. And boy, I know we're gonna be pushing it close right there, guys. Seems like this time we're a little closer to that, but I ain't scared. Mama didn't raise no punt. I will build these mounts 12 times if that's what it takes. I'm just playing, it'll work. It'll work. Now you'll notice this time, I did not go ahead and weld on our support. And that's because last time that right there, I noticed this was not this piece here has got to be running up at a different angle because I had to split some differences. So if I put that flat, that creates a big old gap. I'm gonna mark that. We'll go take that little bit off the bottom and then we'll have a much better fit up. Well, that's good. Cut your vise. That's smart. Just a little bit of angle. Much better. Took a little off that corner to clear for that tack too. Something like that right there is what we're after. That damn sun's killing me, ain't it? Sorry guys. That'd be smart to work out here. Maybe you can see her fit a little better right there. And turn her a little more straight up, not at such a crazy angle. That should offer a lot more support back onto this piece. That looks good right there. Let's locate our angle, 102. That's another good sign. Our other support right here, I had matched to our other one, and that fit is perfect as well. Of course, thanks to my piss poor lighting, it's probably hard for y'all to see anything, huh? Boy, that's an ugly tack. It's all right, we could weld that out. Kind of hard to hold that angle finder, hold our piece in, tack it, but I got her right where she needs to be. We're clear. Bring mama home. Boom, baby. New mounts are on. They look good too. Jack 1, Jack 2. We're now supported by those. Kind of like I told you last time, I'm not even going to try to lay a cross in there and put pretty welds on that. We can wait till we separate the two where I can actually get up in the engine bay and we'll throw some dimes down on that. You know, it's crazy with that picked up in place. Look at all that room above that gearbox now, where before we had like a 1/4 inch clearance between the bottom of that tank and that gearbox. Boy, we got all the room up in there now. That radiator's got to drop a whole lot. How much? About a crap ton, metric crap ton, in fact. Oh, that latch so much easier because it's actually reaching the things without me having to you know what I mean. Gap up here still looks great. Of course, this one closed up even more. I think we just did this thing a whole lot of good. Oh yeah, she looks good. It almost looks like we need to add a bolt in there though, squeeze that gap some. And I don't have nothing to do with what we're doing. I just noticed how bad that big gap is right there where one bolt would pinch all that together. Oh yeah, a little extra 3 bolt never hurt. Not if it fixes a gap, gives extra support. We really ain't got nothing to lose by adding this. All right, now right there where they're rounded, obviously still a little gap, but that back in there pulled up real tight. Looks better. I need to get our overspray off of that and our grill. I don't know who got lazy and didn't mask that. Let's try a little lacquer thinner, the old clean strip. You don't want a dirty strip. Oh yeah, that seems to be working. Figured it would. That old lacquer thinner. She's some mean stuff. Someone even got it on her running board. What a rookie, huh? Rattle Can Dan must have been off work that day, because Rattle Can Dan don't ever do that sloppy. See that? I soaked a rag. I'm working it up and down in that split, just like a washcloth in your booty crack. After a long day's worth of work, you want to get that thing nice and clean. And if you ain't ever worked hard enough that you're that dirty that you had to do that, it's not a me problem. And we think I'm weird for having to floss the cheeks to keep them clean, okay? You work hard enough, you get stuff where you don't want it. And that worked. Next up here, I get that little bit of overspray off of our grill. That'll help clean that up much better. And you'll see it right there. Also, much better. Now I did tape off this running board. I think that maybe splashed or something. I don't know what's going on there. I taped off up here, but look, some of the overspray. See, over here I was overly confident because I did back mask, and I still ended up getting some on the running board back behind where our masking was. So, one microfiber, some old lacquer thinner, and some elbow grease. That's got it all looking a lot better. Now, speaking of cleaning dirty strips and flossing cracks or whatever was just happening out, I don't know. Sometimes I black out and I say things I shouldn't. Just think, y'all want to hear what I say on camera, okay? Now, I try to be good off camera too, I promise. Not always the best, but I really try. Sometimes I shouldn't say that. Boop, and I gotta say it. It's a bad habit. Anyhow, speaking of getting rid of stuff, apparently my wife, she texted me, told me I have a haircut at noon. So my Oklahoma wild man, look I've been working on, that's just now coming back in, she's getting rid of it. And I better get going. So on the downside, I lose my crazy hair. I think being in the military and having to have haircuts made it where I like having the choice to not have haircuts. So basically what I'm doing is saying being married is like being in the military, because now I'm forced to get one. However, there's some pros to this. One, I don't mind being cleaned up too. I mean, I look younger, which is nice. A lot of people think I'm like 45, so that'll hurt your feelings. Just playing, I don't give a damn. The other good thing is my wife likes me more when I'm cleaned up, and that's a good thing. She thinks I'm handsome. But also, big benefit. I guess we got an excuse to drive old Roy across town, and that is a good thing. Leak check. She's been sitting for a good weekend or so. Still don't see no new leaks, guys. Jinx myself. Looky back there on the brakes. Good thing we looked, huh? Golly, I had to say something. Looky right there. Coming from inside there. Brand new wheel cylinder leaking apparently. Well. Maybe we won't drive old Roy, because I don't want to get this big rig going and then not have brakes. That would probably not be fun. I'm glad we did a quick leak check just then. That is why we have shakedown miles and stuff like that. So gotta work out them bugs. We just found one. Guess we'll take the travel off. Dang, watch out. Okay. Pot County Mill Model 2026 calendar. Putting on the cover coming soon.
Jacob, what hair are you cutting? You're balding. You actually remind me a guy off of SpongeBob. Actually, it's this guy right here. It's pretty bad.
You know, a good indicator this front was sagging that I should have caught on last week was every time to get this sat into place. When this was sagging, this was forward, and I was having to like kind of push it down over and then line it up and put a bolt in. Of course, once you get a bolt started, you tighten it down, it'll hold it just fine. But now this thing naturally sits into place. You wouldn't have to tweak that to get a bolt started at the rear or the front. All right, next to come out is gonna be the radiator. Coming up and out. I don't know exactly how much we need to drop it down, but I think what we're gonna do is just cut this off where this piece is still sticking up straight on both sides. Then we can drop it down so it hits our little alignment pins down there, and then maybe we can measure and figure out where we need to add some new tabs on. like how I was just gonna cut those off and that was gonna somehow allow that to drop down further. Well, I guess it kind of can if we stab it at an angle, maybe. Dropped our guide pins in. Now maybe we can treat it like Fat Joe and make it lean back. I think we need to go down a little bit too. I like that right there. So from that ledge to that mark, 2 1/8. So over here, we'll marker 2 1/8. And kind of look. Oh yeah, that looks about what I'm after. Now we got to consider for the fact of adding a 1/4 inch piece on top. So it's got to have some drop down there. But also it can have like a 1/16 to be able to clamp down and really shove down those bottom guide pins too. A little freehand action, huh? Oh, I ain't scared of a little freehand, guys. Most folks don't know back in the day when I was a pinstriper, they called me Freehand Freddy. Neither one of those statements were true. I tell you what though, we will remove that so we don't accidentally cut it. Check the fit. That side looks pretty good. We've got exactly like right at the 1/4 inch gap we're after. This side we can trim off just a hair more, but not much. She's pretty close. That wind's blowing even worse. I don't know who decided to work outside today. Cut us some new tabs. It looks pretty good. Got that little gap I want, so when we drill new holes through that, it pinches it down. Now hopefully we can get it welded up without the wind taking our shielding gas. We got her. Ow. Ow. Oh. Oh, kick a jack real hard with your sketcher on. We didn't need those 3 tips of her toes. Woo, having good balance from a solid left foot's overrated. Cough it up, little guy. I welded it, held it. What I did last time, I drew us a mark right down the center. So as we line that up, we can line it up with our holes, get that center line and know to drill. Both sides drilled, clamped back down, or tightened up, I mean. And we're kind of back to where we started, except now stuff's actually touching, mounted. Radiators once again secure. I told y'all the changes weren't crazy, but obviously super necessary to fix my mistake. Aligning that body should have been step 1 before we did anything last week, so that's definitely my fault for just getting ahead of myself. That's a little rework, and sipping out the old mason jar couldn't fix though. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I'm happy we did that, because before, with that being as tall as it was, when you pop the hood from the side, you could actually see a lot of that. And now you can barely see. Like, you got to actually kind of look down in there to see that little thing sticking up. Where before you could just look over there and it was tall enough, it was obvious. Now this don't look terrible from up here, but it's just that little piece of 1 inch wide, 1/4 inch just sticking up. I'm not just a huge fan of. So I'm gonna play around with some poster board and see if I could figure something out pretty easy to fill in that area. And I'm not dead set on this working, so we'll just try real quick. Don't hurt to try. I don't hate that. Now it's not touching the grill out there, but I don't really want it to. Ideally we could break that edge and weld it here and down there, and that'd make it strong enough for that to kind of hang out there. It may bounce some, but it ain't gonna be nothing too crazy. Ha-ha! Got plenty of 18 gauge right here. Let's whip one up and see if we like it or not. Let's give them something to talk about. How about love, love, love? Shooba-dooba-dooba-dooba-dooba-dooba-doo. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I'll show you. Get a little trick play going on. Because it looked like more material could be that way, I traced it out, then I slid the whole pattern that way. In theory, that should add on a little bit, but then I'm going to come out here and kind of taper this back. That's the line where we'll have to break. It'll work or it won't. Little brake action. A moment of truth here. Let's go see how we did. To be honest, I'm feeling meh on it. Someone's doing a little sunbathing. He's an expert. I think I broke it too much, and I think I need to take a little off that lip. I'll tell you what though, it should clear this or just barely touch it. So let's get the radiator out the way. It'll be a little easier to tune all this in. Try to take a little out of that. And that's what I was worried about. It bent our piece up. That looks terrible. I traced us another one out of this shape before I put the brake in this one. So boom, right there, I've got us another one ready to cut. Fit up's looking pretty good. Just need to take a little more off this edge over here. And that's a fit I can work with right there, guys, especially for spitballing. X marks the spot there. Oh, y'all know if we got an X that we gotta put a hole there. And if we put a hole there, we might as well make it a large hole where we can dimple dye it. All right, hell, you talked me into it. Little notch for where our weld's at. And that's gonna literally fall in there. That's a good fit. Good news is I mirrored it this side over here, just like before I traced another one. Yeah, this one's perfect fit as well. This 18 gauge is too heavy though, so it's time we make her lightweight, put some holes in it. Drill that hole, we eyeballed that one. So now we're gonna match these up because they're the same. And we're gonna trust we hit right where we need to be on the other side as well. We've already got 1¼ inch in the drill press, so that's what we're going with. 1¼ inch ain't very big, but I'm hoping by the time we it gets the flare on there from the dimple, it'll take up a little more of the area. I don't want to punch a big old hole in it, because if we want a big old hole in it, we might as well leave it a big old hole. I'm going speed around. This is for when you got a dimple die in a hurry. Make sure we're nice and flat. If you take it too far, you can always set that there. Usually one good tap like that, that flattened it right back out. Quick light sand and a quick spray job here, just on the bottom side. 1, 2, 3 tacks down there. We'll do one in the corner, one back there. That caps that off. That looks nice. Like some of our other pieces, we're gonna wait to pull this all apart. We'll finish welding that up because the whole engine bay, firewall, fender wells, all that's gonna end up painted black on this thing. Maybe blue, but probably black. Point is, at some point I got to get in here, clean all this up, weld stuff up. Those welds we did last time, I can smooth all them out. We can do the same on this. Yes, sir. Man, those fit good, guys. For no more time we just spent on them. Find the hole and start it. When you are good, you're good. Except last week when you did it wrong and you were bad, but don't worry about that. Because party people, DJ, wake up, P-Tang, fix his mistake. We are sat down now. Now that looks a lot better. Now with that sheet metaled in, you can't even see that ugly little 1x tab sticking up back there. All that, when it's smooth out and painted black, that's gonna look great. Besides that, putting that up there is gonna help stiffen up that corner once it's all welded out. So we're also putting strength in there. It works better, it looks better, it's gonna be stronger. What else could you ask for? Everything's pretty, but let's close her up. Gap there improved, closed up slightly more. This one's been a little larger the whole time, and it didn't do as good, but it's still a little better than what it was. But there we have it, folks. If you realize you made a mistake, don't let it stop you, okay? That's just part of it sometimes. And we've got her lined out and looking better than ever. Guys, we're gonna end out. I come in the shop here, and I'm not being sarcastic when I'm saying there's probably 40 wasps flying around in here, all up around the ceiling. I know what you're thinking, oh, there's probably a nest and you upset them or something. I've seen at least 3 different kinds. There's one. And y'all know me, Nuck if you buck, baby. If they're looking for a fight, they come to the right shop. The thing is, they're all staying so high, I can't really hit them. I'm having to spray them down. Got me a pile of them going. The stuff's kind of oily almost. I figured it'd evaporate, but it don't look like it is. Hey, there's one. Boop! Not today. Little spicy mosquito, sit there. And since I started spraying some of this, I think just it kind of being in the air scared a lot of them off. Even my O'Reilly's driver brought us some parts. He was like, holy crap, look at all these things. Oh, I still see a few. Oh, that's good. Got it all over my earmuffs and my parts and my table. Here I am. Come get me. Oh, I even hit the dang ceiling hanger. Little fiberglass tea bucket. Got another one. Yoo-hoo! Another one. Oh, he's on the run. Get! Boy, y'all picked the wrong shop and you sure didn't realize it, huh? Get! I don't know if they're looking for a place to build a nest. I don't know. They seem really attracted to the spray foam. Well, that stuff works good. Wonder if brake clean will get rid of it. I'm sure that's a good chemical mix right there. Oh, got him with the brake clean. I'm a dang sniper, y'all. If they want to have a ladder match, that's all they had to say. I am down to partay. Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A couple big main ones right there. Another one bites the dust. Boink. Good morning, everybody. Hope your morning's going better than theirs. I only thought I was done working yesterday. KK texted me, middle daughter. She said, Dad, my car's making a weird noise when I stop. Yep, that'll do that. I said, how long they been making noise? She said, today's the 2nd day. Well, that pad was gone. Either way, me and Theo worked a little later and we got her fixed up. So this morning, something else we had recently worked on was the airbags on the front. And I told y'all that sway bar may work, it may not. When stuff was on jack stands and stuff, it looked like it's going to, but when I air it up, it's rubbing. So we actually need to pull that sway bar off there. No investigation in the situation. Everywhere we look, there's patina blue internationals. Hold on, went too far. If you've learned anything from this second channel video, it should be that it is worth building stuff where it's serviceable. Because yes, I've had to take stuff apart to make changes, but has any of it been hard to do? Absolutely not. All this stuff has been built in a way where if we need to work on it like we are right now, it is not just an absolute pain in the butt to do. Well, I took a big old chunk off there, guys, because we pretty much don't have a choice. Let's say we take off too much and it breaks, which I don't think's gonna happen. Oh no, then we don't have a sway bar. If it continues to rub, we're already at, oh no, we don't have a sway bar. Really polish that baby up, and you can see, yeah, we took off quite a bit, didn't we? It is fine, guys. I know if you've never had airbags before, the thought of maybe a missing sway bar on a big truck like this terrifies you. And I've had enough vehicles without sway bars that I can confidently say, even if we end up having to ditch this thing, which obviously I don't want to, I'm trying to make it work, but if we have to, it's not gonna be just this big old deal I think some people think it is. You gotta think, guys, how many 1-tons you think out there are worn out that have blown out sway bar end link bushings? Meaning there's probably, you blow all those out, that bolt gets where everything can move around, you got over an inch of play. Every time they go around the corner, do they flip or roll, you know? No, they don't. They're just fine. And I'm telling you, with the airbags, you can make them act as a sway bar. I know some of you don't believe that, but once you have enough vehicles with airbags and you know you don't just roll left or right, you just trust it more, I guess. And I know that looked like we just ground on it. Ground on it. It got ground. Either way, I know it looks like I just zipped it up into place, but the reality is one of the sway bar end-link bolts rounded the tip just from having some weight on it, I guess. So then I got to chase those threads, and it was a total pain in the butt to then get that one started. I did get it started, but that's what really happens when working on cars. Not everything is all hunky-dory. I'm just really good at sharing all the mistakes, or not mistakes, just mishaps and everything. Yeah. Bounce, you big heifer. We got 1 mile of clearance on this side. And on the driver's side, about 3/4 of a mile. I did a good job on guessing where to curve that. It's curving along the airbag quite nice. But let's shoot some air in this sucker, because it was clearing before. It's when we'd go full air that then stuff would want to rub, just touch. Do a little smoochy kiss. Dang it. Once that bag grows from inflating, that's when we're getting a rubbing. Even with all that cut off, we're still just barely touching on this side, which would definitely be enough to rub a hole in the bag. Looks like we could maybe slide a sheet of paper on this side, maybe, but not likely. I did try loosening our bolts, shifting that bag back as far as it could go. And right now we've got a good thumb tip worth of clearance on both sides. I told y'all it was my first time using these sleeve bags. I didn't think they were gonna expand too much going out as far as like the diameter of the bag getting bigger, and that's really what we're running into. With leaning those back a little bit, it's extremely close, but still too close for comfort. It does look like the sway bar is actually clearing though, and it's the bushings and washer that's doing the rubbing. So I'm curious if we were to take those bushings out and we aired it up, how much clearance we got in there, because that don't mean we can't use that sway bar. That just means those bushings and that style won't work. But there ain't nothing that says we couldn't, like, maybe through that whole bolt a piece that then kicks a stud over this way, and we could do like some heim joint end links or something. Maybe a heim joint up there and then down to a rubber bushing. I haven't given up hope yet. I'm just saying there may be a couple options still. I think I may have found us a solution. All I did was take those lower nuts off and I picked that up. We got clearance between the upper and it. We got way more clearance between the bag and it. Now I can put like a whole hand's worth. And I think what we'll have to do is just build a little platform off of this, something that goes up, over, and down that has a hole in it. And we can change our bottom location, lifting that up a little bit, and I think we'll clear tie rods and airbags and A-arms and everything. I think our platform will have to be about 1.25 to 1.5 inches tall, and we can probably do it out some 2-inch wide, 1/4 inch thick by the looks of it. Here's the thing, we're not gonna do it now. And I've got a list going on the whiteboard over there of stuff we have to finish fabrication wise once the body comes back off of this. Boxing in our 5th wheel hitch that ain't boxed in yet. Boxing the frame, period. Those core support mounts, we'll demount. We'll add that to the list, because when the body's off of this thing, when the body's off of this thing, it'll be so much easier to split the difference on the sway bar, make sure we've got it centered up perfectly side to side, and to make sure the mounts on the A-arms are actually symmetrical as well, making sure they're at the same angle, same position, all that good stuff. We got to do it kind of like this, where we're kind of choosing and hoping they're not going to end up in the same spot, and then that'll irritate me. So it'll be a lot faster if we just wait, and the result will be better as well. He's got it rough, guys. He never gets attention, as you can tell. Whew. we're back together. Now, part of me really wants to build this little shroud cover thing to go over the top of this, especially since we dropped that. We got more room. We could hug something over here out of sheet metal, cover the top of the radiator. It would just make it look better. However, we probably want to wait until we figure out what fan we're running and the shroud we're building and get that in place, and then we'll trim out from there. So we better just be patient for now. Hello, this is P. Tang's Mobile Mechanic Services. Your old Roy's leaking. The hell's a whole Roy? People call, booty we haul to fix their needs. Good way to keep your tools organized right here. Stroke! 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 That little guy out the way. We're not leaking brake fluid. That's gear oil, folks. Bend our keeper where we can get that nut out of there. I say we just pull this sucker apart. I really don't remember what seals are all where. See, because there's a bearing out here, so we got to get fluid out here, so there's not a seal back there, right? But that stuff was somehow working its way, so I don't know. I'm just gonna pull her apart and look. I ain't messed with a lot of the bigger stuff like this, and obviously I had this one apart, but I just don't quite remember all the details. Yeah, that had been leaking as we were going down the road, y'all think, huh? We'll clean all that up. I mean, that thing's scored a little bit. We're not gonna act like it's perfect. And this is a new seal. I had put a new one in it. It'd make me feel better if I could see what was causing us to leak here. Right here you can see is where it'd been kind of running down, just the way it was parked. I can feel a little something right there, it feels like. Very hard to see, but right there's a number. It is 2081, so I'm gonna write that down before I forget it. Oh, right there it is, guys. That's kind of sticking up, and then right there it drops down, and I guarantee you that's kind of got the rubber lip dropping too. And that's where our stuff looked like it'd been pouring down at. So installer error, more than likely. There you go. Pretty sure I let him do this side. Careful now, don't be scratching up the old 59. Perhaps that technique is not working. Sorry there, Biscay Annie. That'll pop her up out of there. Let's see, what's that? A little piece of hucky pucky. We want to get that out of there. Come here, Bearing. How you looking? How you doing? You doing all right? You look all right. Slap you right back in. The first cold that come through last week, it must have killed some batteries, because Stout's dead as can be. Poor Yeehaw's dead as can be. They're all dead, Theo. All right, we got some parts to take back here, and I got some merch to drop off. We appreciate all the support on that. Boom, baby. Hey, guess what someone sent for Theo? Hey, don't you take that one. Hey, hey. Give me that back. Y'all know what the problem is with him and toys? He takes them, and he runs away, and he hides them, then he forgets where he has them. It's not real. You think it's real. It's not. Give me that. Give me that. He gone. I can't ever play with him with his toys because he takes them and hides them everywhere. Now all this is becoming very familiar to me after seeing this seal. It is quite large. I don't think my seal driver goes that big. It does not. And I think I had to use a chunk of wood, which is probably why that last one got bent. Now speaking of sent out, look what Ken sent me. He said all that crawling around I done it made him feel the pain. So he built these heavy duty knee pads. And guys, I have knee pads. They're so uncomfortable. These things so far are quite comfortable. Perfect timing too, because we need them right now. So we're gonna put these knee pads right to use. Get a little gear oil out of there to lubricate our seal a little bit. Get it ready for install. Yep. And I do kind of vaguely remember one fighting me a little bit. So we are gonna have to use the wood again. That one is wanting to go crooked, which is what we don't want. Oh, she flush. And I think I just put it in backwards. I wish I was playing. Gosh dang it, guys. I did not mean to do that. I looked and was like, oh, it needs to go that way, away. But away's actually the axle side. And I meant well in my head, but I was flip-flopped and bass-backwards. Gosh darn it. Try again. Hey, yo. I bet them drums and shoes and everything's gonna work a little better not covered in gear oil. What do y'all think? I'll tell you what I think. I think these knee pads work damn good. That's what I think. Well, that wind's kicked up worse. I realized a minute ago I was looking right there, but that's where the bearing rides. Actually, up here is where our seal should be sealing, hopefully. So I'm gonna slick that up and we're gonna slap this thing back together and hopefully fix our leak. Get her double jam nutted here, and once again in typical pudding fashion, we messed up some other stuff, so we don't want to do too good of work here. When I had that flipped over and was hammering on it against that pry bar, boy, it sure scuffed up that surface a lot worse than I thought it would have on that concrete. I mean, it feels like it's been hit with damn 60 grit or 36 grit now. Backside of that gasket's kind of shriveling up. I think it's got paint on it breaking down or something, whatever coating was on it. So if this leaks, we'll need to replace it. If it don't leak, we'll be all right. Just put us a little bit of black RTV on it. We'll let that tack up, sit up a little bit. Uh-oh. Looks like we got another leak coming. Yep, front seal on that. Or maybe even up there where the shifter is. Looks like we got some leaks going on. It ain't a lot, there's just a couple little drips underneath here. This transfer case needs attention. Y'all heard how loud it is? That's new. Even I was talking with Dad, he said, I remember it clunking, but it never really screamed like that. And I'm like, yeah, it never did it to me neither. So I'm looking at options. We're probably gonna find another one of these and have it gone through, or find a remanufactured one and then do a one-for-one swap. I'm afraid to pull this one out and get it broken apart and then needing parts and having a hard time finding parts and then oil roy's down. So for now, the plan will be, let's drain this oil, which ain't gonna hurt it none, and we'll go with a little bit thicker stuff in there. Little oil flush. And hopefully that'll buy us enough time of actually being able to drive it, opposed to just taking it off the road, and maybe it'll help keep it together. Who knows, maybe as is you could go another, 50,000, 100,000, but it don't sound like something I'd want to try to drive across the country. And I had serviced this, and I'm not seeing metal so far, and considering this is a cast iron case, that could have been rusty in there, and after running it some, you may expect to see a lot of rust or something, but I don't really. It looks pretty good. Oh, nice wind. Perfect. I was hoping a big gust would come through where that would splash everywhere. I mean, gear oil smells really good, especially when it gets nice and aerated and just gets spread everywhere. That's what we're after. Got our drain plug back in, took our fill plug out. It had 80/90. We're gonna go to some thicker 85/140. So I'm gonna fill it up, and then I gotta go to some school stuff, and then we'll be back to finally, hopefully get this thing put together for a test drive. I'm back. Drop that baby down, that'll let some fluid kind of transfer this way. I doubt we lost enough to need to add some, but we better check it just in case. We're here. I know. She's leaking right out. She's ready for a test drive. Come down here so she can warm up. Oh, we're pumping some water today, folks. I can actually tell it's put a dent in it today on filling it back up. That's pretty cool. first one was kind of weak. It shifted to second and didn't want to downshift, so I pulled her down in the first, and she'll get buck nasty on you. It helps the gear oil get spread throughout the transfer case and everything. You know, we're testing. You got a proper test. Transfer case is still noisy. Well, I went and seen old Slick Fitty, took this thing for a little spin, and I parked it over here on some fresh concrete that we can dirty up since we got, you know, fluid all over there. We'll put her in a fresh spot tonight, and I'll check it in the morning. Check it right now, and I don't see nothing. And guys, we are gonna wrap up right there. So there we go, second channel action complete. Some errors fixed on my behalf, and anyways, I feel like we did really good these last couple days. 2 half days kind of made into 1 day. Fixed all kinds of stuff on Lodestar, whipped a bunch of WASP, fixed a little more on the Lodestar, or solved a problem, and fixed on old Roy. So that's it, guys. I appreciate y'all being here, especially on the second channel. The main channel, man, it's just been a tough year, I'll tell you that. But thankful, I'm so thankful to y'all here on the second channel watching. Me having consistency here means a lot to me and my girls and my business and everything. So I can't thank y'all enough. If y'all are watching this on the Patreon, I cannot thank y'all enough. If y'all are watching this just on YouTube also, I cannot thank y'all enough. Puddin'sFabShop.com for that good quality merchandise. We appreciate all the support there. That also helps keep this dream alive and people employed. And I just cannot thank y'all for enough support across the board. So I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the next one. However, do not forget, sitting on your ass will not finish your project. Pete Tang's mobile mechanic service better go get the 1.5 tons and pull her in for the night. All right.